commence?
Tu peux y aller, ouais.
Eh ben c'est parfait.
Du coup, quand tu commences à parler, t'es là-bas et tu fais un signe avec Jonathan.
Ok.
C'est bon pour toi?
Ouais.
Quand tu veux.
On est good?
Vas-y.
Allez, vamonos. Bonjour. Bonjour, bonjour, hello everyone and welcome for the second day of ChangeNOW Summit. Who was there for the first day yesterday? You can raise your hand. Yeah, and first day today, raise your hand. Okay, welcome everyone. In this garden stage, we're going to have a pitch session today about energy. I am Rebecca Svedge, I'm French, and I'm happy to be the master of ceremony of today, especially for pitch session as I'm daily the community leader of Gals for Change, where I empower and gather women entrepreneurs. So let's begin this pitch session with our jury. Today we're going to talk about energy as the world pivots towards more sustainable practices. We know that energy innovation is key to tackle the changes of global warming. That's why we want to really optimize efficiency and foster resilience in our energy systems. And here at ChangeNOW, we really want to celebrate all efforts that are shaping a more sustainable and cleaner energy landscape. So we're going to begin this ceremony with the partner of this session, which is Schneider Electric. Please welcome Christophe Pauline.
Thank you.
Sure.
So it's an honor to be here. As you may know, Schneider Electric is a big energy company. We are a multinational with almost 35 billion turnover, 140,000 people in more than 100 countries. But if I am here, it's because I am leading a very specific activity in this company, which is impact investing. We started impact investing 15 years ago in 2009, and we focused on the idea, which is the basis of our social responsibility, that energy is a basic human right. And among all the initiative we have taken around this, we have started impact investing. We started small with a specific fund dedicated to energy poverty in Europe, and we are investing in many social startups fighting energy poverty. And then we went to create new funds dedicated to access to energy, energy efficiency, energy usage in sub-Saharan Africa and in Asia. So today we have contributed to the creation of 4 funds, 3 of them dedicated to access to energy and energy access, investing for social impact and social impact through energy, and the whole scope of energy from production, storage, distribution, usage, and of course the management layer of this whole chain. So it's a pleasure and an honor to be part of this jury and to be the sponsor of this session. Thank you.
Thank you, Christophe. Thank you very much. Indeed, you're part of our dear jury. Thank you for being here. You're going to be able to listen to 10 solutions and 10 pitches and elect your own coup de cœur, your favorite solution to energy today. Let's hear about you guys. We want to know a bit more. In a sentence, who are you? Maybe begin with you.
Thank you. So, Joanna Vincent Late, I'm working for BPI France, so the French sovereign bank, and more specifically for the large venture fund, which is the growth fund of BPI France. So we invest in large scale-ups in different fields, software, marketplace, but also in clean tech with a solution like Insect, DeepKey, or Afferent, and Electra more recently.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Nicolas Euzé. I am the CEO, maybe I should get up. I'm the CEO and founder of Switch Energy, a French company harnessing a new technology, deploying a new technology to harness osmotic power and produce clean electricity For those who don't know, osmotic power is the energy of the salt water when it meets fresh water.
Thank you very much. You have a camera here so you can see.
Okay.
No problem.
So hi everyone, I'm Nicolas Morin. I'm an engineer specialized in energy, and I've been working for the last 6 years at the French Ministry of Ecology on energy topics such as biomass, biofuels, alternative fuels, electrification. I also contributed to the creation of the French Innovation Agency for Transports within the Ministry of Transports. And until recently, I was advisor at the cabinet of French Ministry for Energy Transition.
Thank you very much.
Tough lineup for me. Susie, I work for HV Capital, which is a German fund. We do multi-stage between early and growth. And in the portfolio, we've done a lot, like NPAL, Agrina, in the broader energy tech space. I focus a lot on Paris, so I'm always excited to be back and see what's happening in the space.
Welcome back.
Hello, everyone. I'm Helen Watts. I'm the Executive Director of Student Energy. We're a 15-year-old organization, the largest youth organization in the world working on the clean energy transition. And as part of our work, we support a variety of different startup programs, from Greenpreneurs, which I co-founded back about 5 years ago now, to our current program, Guided Projects, which is supporting youth-led clean energy startups.
Thank you. Cherry on the cake.
So, Christophe Pauline, as I said, I am responsible for impact investing with Schneider Electric, an activity that we started 15 years ago now.
Wonderful. Thank you for all being here. We're going to begin with 5 first solutions, and then we're going to have a time for Q&A, and then 5 more features, and then another Q&A. In the audience, are you ready? Are you ready? Okay, so let's welcome warmly the first speaker, Nitya Menon.
All right. Right now, there are 700 million people living off-grid without access to electricity. So instead, they're spending $26 billion a year on dirty fuels like diesel and kerosene. At the same time, solar panels and batteries are dramatically coming down in price. So this is a great opportunity to actually solve this problem. So why haven't we yet? Well, it turns out over 80% of these households are living in sparse, rurally hard-to-reach parts of the world, and traditional solutions like mini-grids are just not financially viable to reach them yet. At Okra, we're trying to reimagine what off-grid energy infrastructure can look like. Our hardware and our software solution ensure that energy utilities can deliver productive power to houses in these hard-to-reach parts of the world, but at a fraction of the cost. So first, we sell our hardware, our Okra MeshGrid kits, to project developers. And they're the ones who install the equipment and then start selling electricity to households. Then, on a recurring basis, we sell our suite of software tools that make sure projects are designed, then built, operated, and optimized for project success, viability, and ultimately scalability. So what is the MeshGrid? So a MeshGrid is a modular network of decentralized assets, solar panels, batteries, and our innovative hardware controller. When they're connected together, they share power, which increases the reliability of the network, but we also make sure that power isn't traveling really far distances in the network, and that's how we can keep the distribution costs down, 90% less than what you'd see in a mini-grid, where in a mini-grid you have all of your solar panels, your batteries in one area, and you have to spend a lot in cabling and distribution to get power all throughout the community. So now we have a cost per connection of $550 compared to $1,500. And this can bring a payback of a project from 30 to 40 years all the way down to 7 to 10. And this is finally showing an infrastructure that is bankable and scalable. So last year, we closed our Series A, and we have 18,000 people getting electricity from MeshGrids all over the world, Nigeria, Haiti, Cambodia, Philippines. And the impact is not only being felt by them, but also on the planet in carbon offsetting, and also tens of thousands of trees being offset every year due to clean cooking. up next, we'll be looking to raise our Series B later this year and early next at about 20 million. And this will unlock our ability to be selling hundreds of thousands of systems each year by 2027, and ultimately establishing mesh grids as a technology that can help us finally achieve universal energy access. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's hear our second pitcher. It's going to be Rémi Bastien for Enogrid.
Hello everyone, I'm Rémi Bastien from Enogrid. I'm the co-founder of this company, French company, working on collective self-consumption and local energy sharing in France for the past 5 years. Our vision of the energy transition, all the scenarios are agree about this, that we will consume less energy, we have to consume less energy, but in the same time, the electricity consumption will increase. Saying that, we need more means of decarbonized electricity production, and for the next year, whatever we think about nuclear power, we will need more and more renewable energy over the next 10 years, 15 years. So Enogrid vision is the energy of tomorrow will be electric, renewable, and local. We think that it makes a lot of sense to produce the electricity at the same place that we use it. To give you a little bit more context about our market in France, self-consumption with solar panel is really booming in France right now. There are different reasons. The increase of the retail electricity tariff, the decreased cost of solar panel and installation cost, and a supportive regulation that push us to install more and more solar panel on building and so on. So the growth is quite spectacular. Between 2020 and 2023, we are almost double the number of self-consumption in France to achieve a number of 400,000 installation. To give you a little bit more context, we have two types of self-consumption in France. We have the individual one, where one consumer will produce the electricity that he uses. And this type of self-consumption is only available for people who own a property and a property who is able, where it's possible to install solar panel. So that means it's not for everybody. And at Enogrid, we think that energy transition should be for everybody. So we are looking for collective self-consumption, where electricity is shared between one or more producer with one or more final consumer using the national grid. The idea is quite simple, to share the electricity with your neighbor, but in fact, it's a little bit complicated to do it, so that's why Enogrid is here. We enable collective self-consumption and local energy sharing with specialized services, training, study, assistance and advice, and mostly we develop dedicated tools, Enolab to study the project, Enopower to manage it. And we work with all types of project owner and energy professional. Some few number, we are a team of 30 people, 300 projects in France, and we have more than 2,000 stakeholders who shared 10,000 megawatt-hour. Thank you.
Thank you, Rémi. Thank you very much. Let's discover the next venture. It's ATEC.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. Thanks for having me. Some great talent and great people here. Nice to meet you all. We heard from Okra Solar the keyword clean cooking. So let's talk about clean cooking a bit more. Decarbonizing cooking will reduce 1 gigaton of global emissions across 4 billion people. That's a lot of people and a lot of tons of emissions. So that's a huge opportunity here. ATEC enables decentralized carbon market opportunities globally. And we're doing that with a product suite around clean cooking, centered around our hardware product. That's an IoT-enabled induction stove, single double burner. We have software for our customers to track their consumption, monitor payments, monitor savings compared to traditional biomass burnings, as well as interacting with our services for after sales. The last thing is our data platform, in which we are collecting, processing, and analyzing usage data, which we then can transfer into 100% data verified carbon credits. The DMIV data platform, I mentioned this already a bit, so we have lots of opportunities around geospatial analysis. We are currently deployed, what you can see here in Bangladesh, as well as in Cambodia. We are able to profile and segment our customers in many different ways, as well as translating any usage the moment it occurs into carbon credits. ATEC has already proven to deliver on this. We have established the product, we have confirmed the market fit, we have worked together with local on-the-ground organizations, have deployed more than 15,000 units, established global partnerships with players like NG, and have secured 6.5 million in equity funding today. We're about to expand our operations into up to 12 high potential markets across Asia and Africa in the next step. Our innovation is not ending on the product level. So a new thing that we're presenting is a innovative carbon-linked bond. So we're pairing our tech, which provides access to high-impact climate and social outcomes, together with treasury bonds. The treasury bonds are government-backed AAA treasury notes, which means they have a much lower risk rating than our product on its own. This together is bundled in a $60 million carbon-linked AAA bond, which means you have access to high ESG scoring, investment opportunities with AAA risk rating. If you're a bond issuer or a bond investor, please come talk to us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Will, for sharing with us about ATEC. Thank you. Let's welcome now the next project, Firefly Fusion.
We believe that nuclear fusion is ready to demonstrate the feasibility to drive clean power, clean energy for the world. This is demonstrated by the fact that there are more than 6 billion raised by fusion startups around the world. Majority of them focusing on approaches which are either scientifically very challenging or engineeringly very hard to scale to the right scale. We're going to focus on the most advanced research technology, which is tokamak, in order to show the feasibility of nuclear fusion. Our example is Commonwealth Fusion System with an MIT spin-off, which raised more than 2 billion from large investors like Temasek and Bill Gates. And we believe that equivalent company can be built in Europe, building on European research ecosystem. So we're going to focus on tokamak. Tokamak is a magnetic bottle which is used to contain plasma. Our goal to heat this plasma to 100 million degrees in order to produce hundreds of megawatts of fusion power using only tens of megawatts of input power in order to drive large energy production. We're going to focus on creating that plasma, heating and stabilizing and removing the heat, which is the key technologies for a fusion power plant. If we look at the patent landscape, what the current companies are doing, they're focusing primarily on the magnets. So we really believe that there is a large space for creating new IP technologies which will be foundational for the future power plants, as important and potentially more valuable than the magnets. We're going to do it by constructing what we call minimum viable product in fusion, which is a tokamak design coming out of leading US research labs like MIT, Princeton, Department of Energy. And this design is ready to be built because it's built on 50 years of fusion research worldwide, and it's also in France. Currently, we're raising 15 million seed round in order to modernize this device to add the technologies which can be necessary for fusion power plants. And we see in 6 years construction of this device in Europe, most likely in France, which will demonstrate to the world that nuclear fusion can generate hundreds of megawatts of fusion power to drive the world. And it's going to be an equivalent of landing on the moon because totally change the landscape for the energy. As a second step, we see construction of a fusion prototype, which is going to integrate all necessary technologies for fusion power plants. We're going to work in partnership with industrial companies like Schneider. We're going to work with the banks like BPI in order to finance the future fusion industry. We're a team of experienced researchers. We are 2 co-founders. I used to work at CERN. My co-founder is fusion scientist at EPFL and Lausanne. Between us, we have 50 years of physics studies and research. We're supported by an ecosystem of strong advisors and collaborators. And we're really ready to execute in order to start the world with the fusion power plant can totally replace fossil fuels to produce a world which has clean, abundant energy for all, not just in Europe, but everywhere in the world. And we encourage you to visit our stand in energy sector to learn more. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rustam. You can go that way. And the next one we're about to explore is BioEsol. Thanks for welcoming BioEsol.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Alejandra, co-founder and CSO of BioEsol. Here is a question. What are the two biggest challenges the world is facing right now? I'll give you a hint. Energy and climate. Not only that, but governments, regulators, and the United Nations, they all demand that we transition to sustainable energy. This is where BioEsol comes in. We believe our technology fills a critical gap in the current market, and we also believe that one of the biggest growth opportunities in history lies in the storage and management of energy. And that is our solution, an AI-driven battery integrated with a groundbreaking energy intelligence software that not only increases renewable energy use, but also ensures uninterrupted power even in adverse conditions. Our battery efficient restores energy from different renewable sources, and its versatility is reflected in multiple configurations that enable users to maximize the use of 100% of generated energy. In addition, our battery features an innovative auto-balance cell system that ensures that if a cell experiences an issue, our battery will keep functioning. To complement our battery, our energy management software empowers users with key insights for informed, efficient energy use decisions. Our technology is truly amazing. Let me tell you why. First, we doubled the lifespan of our battery. That means more than 20 years. Second, our batteries function without any interruption, not even microseconds. And last, we supply electricity as direct current at 148 volts, 3 times higher than our closest competitor. To speed up our innovation strategy, we have opened an R&D office in Greeneum, leveraging cutting-edge technologies and collaborating with top-tier talent in our industry. Did you know that the International Energy Agency estimates that the world needs 970 gigawatts of battery storage, and today we only have 28 gigawatts installed? We are talking about a global market value of $200 billion with an annual compound growth rate of 30%. The whole world will be needing energy storage capacity, and BioEsol is strategically positioned to dominate the industry because of our outperforming features. Like industry giants before us, we're leveraging a unique business model that covers gaps other players don't meet. We focus on small and medium businesses where we find an underserved market with enormous energy-related problems. Here is a good example of how our solution reduces energy costs and CO2 emissions for a corporate office in Mexico that achieves energy self-sustainability. We are a B2B continuous energy solution. We offer two revenue models catering to diverse business needs. So far, we have signed up more than 150 clients. We closed 2023 with almost 4 million in sales, with a 140 million pipeline, and profitable since year one. Our global team is totally aligned with 3 United Nations SDGs. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Alejandra. You can stay with us for the Q&A session, and I'm going to invite the other pitchers to come, those who have already pitched for our session. Dear jury members, it's your time to ask questions. Please make sure that each pitcher gets at least one question each. Who would like to start?
Well, I can start with a Firefly. Can you explain what makes you different from other, especially US companies that are already active in the field? Is it a particular technology? What makes you different?
There are 3 differentiation factors. Number one, that for the first step, we're going to use an older magnet technology based on copper, which is more reliable, more used, while they're developing more advanced superconducting magnets. The second aspect is going to be, we're going to be in Europe, because Europe at the moment is the leading ecosystem for fusion research. Also, ITER created 10 billion supply chain. We also have a large number of companies and research institutions, the most in the world, number 2. And number 3, we really believe that we have an approach focusing on the technologies which are complementary to common fusion system specifically, because they focus on a magnet, while there's other things you will need for power plant, but nobody is at the moment researching in the private sector. So we're going to capture those patterns, which in a way that nobody else at the moment is doing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question, please.
I have a question for Okra Solar. I saw that you have this list of kind of developers who are developing the technology on the ground. Could you tell me a little bit about how Okra ensures that the developers are working in partnership with communities and how communities are kind of engaged in the upkeep process for the mesh grids that are installed?
Sure. So it's really important for us that we make sure that these projects are sustainable. So that's why it's a developer model where we're not just putting technology into communities and leaving. So it's an energy as a service model where houses are paying for electricity and then the developer is doing the operations and maintenance. So when we set up projects with them, we're ensuring that they have local maintenance agents built into the projects. They build that community buy-in, that trust. They can do the operations and maintenance in a much faster turnaround than sending someone in from the big city to do that. And it's all part of our kind of evaluation of good customers are people who we align with, are there to really bring the best service to the households at the end of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Maybe I'm going to pick the next question for BioEsol.
Yes.
I think it's pretty impressive how you grew 10x over 2 years, really, in terms of sales. How did you actually achieve this? Was it mostly partnership-led, outbound? How did you get those people to start using the product?
Okay, we leverage our network of distributors so we can expand in our market. And also we have partnering like Siemens and also with NL. So we have projects, corporates, and also small and medium businesses. Well, yeah.
Thank you.
I had a question also
Yes.
for BioEsol. Do you consider also selling storage services to the national grid operators and not only building managers at more on a utility scale?
Yes, our technology can do that, and we in Mexico we are considering that, and we are thinking about this also in Europe. Okay.
I have a question for Remy. So I was wondering, what is the share of your activity linked to services and human support, and the share of software today and maybe in the next years?
Past year, the part of software was 25%. And the goal is to grow this part. We are a tech company, not a services company. So we will keep our service to a certain level, and then we will scale with the product and technology. So the software revenue will be major, I think, in 2 years, comparing the service one.
Thank you. Last question, maybe?
Yeah, last question will be for ATEC. You are linking technology with carbon finance, with asset-based finance, which is quite a new concept. How did you overcome all the difficulties around carbon finance, the capability to set a new standards, and with which standards do you work?
Can you say the second part again? The hurdles of what exactly?
Of the carbon finance. All the difficulties around setting the standard, working with a standard company such as Gold Standard or Vera, and all the hurdles there are around the carbon finance today.
I wouldn't say we have overcome it, to be honest. It's a pretty interesting field, and there's lots to navigate. Yes, the processes around Gold Standard, we just heard them yesterday, are pretty complex as to date. There is, from a product perspective, a clear need to transition into digital MRV processes, for example. This is something that would reduce the complexity around these projects significantly. There is just not a readiness for these bodies to follow suit here. So what we're doing in parallel is observing any ally that can provide this access. So there is initiatives already existing, blockchain-based projects that try to either provide the environment for standards to make this whole process, including the financing and the access to the financing much easier, or even as an alternative, actually bypass the whole system and just developing Article 6-based agreements and implement methodologies that basically bypass any external body like gold standard having to verify it.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your answers. Thank you very much for your questions. Congrats on your projects, guys. You'll hear about the coup de cœur after a second batch of pitches. Let's welcome 5 more solutions. And the next one is Solskin. Please welcome Alexander with your applause.
Hi, I'm Alexander Zwist, founder and head of business of Zurich Soft Robotics. Today, I will show you why and how the buildings of the future will come to life. If it's hot, we feel uncomfortable and become unproductive. Hence, cooling is expected to increase tenfold by the end of the century. This also means an increased urban energy production, which contributes further to the 37% of global CO2 emissions which stem from the built environment, and which are making our environment and our planet even hotter, which brings us back to the start of the cycle. The ideal interface to address these problems of comfort, energy, and climate in the built environment is the facade, the main energetic interface of the building. A facade which moves, adapting to the environment, shaping the building around the needs of the occupants. That is Solskin. Solskin combines solar power production with intelligent shading to create near-zero energy buildings. Movable solar panels are used to control the amount of sun which penetrates the building facade and prevent the interior from being overheated. The PV panels follow the sun to produce renewable energy at the highest possible efficiency. Controlled by our self-learning AI algorithms, this also allows us to optimize for user comfort. This intelligent, living building skin saves up to 80% of the energy consumption, increases the occupant's comfort, and creates highest quality living and working spaces, enabling our customers to bring desirable and climate resilience to life worldwide. Scientific validation, IP protection, thoughtful engineering, and a rigorous testing make our system reliable and scalable. This year, we are working on a number of paid pilots, and after a market entry early next year, we have a 2 million project in execution, 2 more in detailed planning, and received international interest for more than 50,000 square meters of our system. Our team combines diverse professional experience from architecture, engineering, and business with a workaholic drive and a fascination for climate tech and the future of buildings. We are currently looking for a 5 million Swiss francs investment to enter the market and to create a scalable customer journey. We are looking for a
Thank you, Alexander. Thank you so much for your pitch. Thank you. Let's now welcome Adrian Alban for VoltR project.
Bonjour. All of those products uses lithium batteries, and all those batteries uses this cell. This cell is one of the most standardized items the world ever created. The issue with this cell is that when we destroy it, meaning we recycle it, it still has an average of 80% residual capacity. The other issue is that in Europe, 94% of those cells are imported from China. So what does VoltR do? We remanufacture lithium batteries. We collect the batteries that are at the end of their first life. We dismantle them, so we are able to take out all the cells inside. We test, we characterize, and we predict the end of life of the battery. Then we reassemble all the good cells together to create a new battery. And our batteries are more performant than the new one from China, even though we are using second life cells inside. So how do we do this magic? I have some free time after the pitch to explain if you want. We are an innovative company. We are on a new market. We are actually building this market, and we already are one of the leaders of this European market. We use a lot of algorithm and artificial intelligence to characterize and predict our cells. And so we have several industrial patents to protect our IP. Our solution is good for the planet. We estimate that remanufacturing batteries can save up to 8% of CO2 emissions compared to Chinese batteries. This is, of course, less mining extraction and all the negative outcomes it generates. And, of course, it is less waste. So our goal by 2030 is to open 4 plants in 4 different countries. We already secured one here in France. We aim for 100 million euros turnover while being profitable. And our goal is to remanufacture up to 45 million cells, meaning we will save up to 9 million tons of CO2 every year. And this is 1% of the total emissions of France every year. Thank you.
Thank you, Alban. Let's now welcome Adrian for Gazelle Wind Power.
Welcome everybody. My name is John Salazar, and I am the founder and CEO of Gazelle. Thanks a lot to our partners, Catapult for pointing us towards ChangeNOW this year. As a technology provider, Gazelle is considered one of the most promising solutions in the floating offshore wind industry. At Gazelle, we are obsessed with delivering best-in-class product for the floating foundation and the mooring system, which accounts for over 40% of the total cost of a floating offshore wind project. Now, we need to act with urgency. To stay on track with the 1.5 degrees global warming scenario from pre-industrial levels, we need over 300 gigawatts of floating offshore wind within the next 2 decades. On this slide, you can see, on the one hand, some of the markets where the company has already achieved significant traction, delivering pre-FEED and conceptual studies, and on the other hand, where the company is patenting its disruptive technology. Our clients are global energy developers, EPCAs, globally. Now, to turn all this ambition into action, there are still several problems to be addressed because the old legacy designs coming from offshore oil and gas, which are 90% of our competitors, require a significant amount of steel or concrete in order to provide the buoyancy and the stability to keep a wind turbine that for the latest generations can be as tall as the Eiffel Tower that is there in the backyard, in order to keep the wind turbine safely operational. Gazelle is solving this problem by introducing a complete paradigm shift in the industry. We are eliminating active ballast, introducing a solution that uses 30% less steel, reducing the CO2 emissions equivalently as well. And everyone is looking for the serial production solution in this industry. Everyone is looking for the Henry Ford assembly car, and that's what Gazelle is aiming to deliver. A solution that is very simple to manufacture, very simple to assemble, very simple to be serially produced. The technology has been tested and proven robust and has been independently verified by third parties such as DNV. And the next big milestone for the company is to deliver a 2-megawatt demonstrator of the coast of Portugal that will reach us to bankability and get us to a growth stage. The company has already raised over 10 million euros in equity from leading infrastructure funds and strategic investors, and is now closing 23 million euros both in convertible loan notes and in equity financing from leading strategic investors and institutionals. The company is already lining up their first commercial contracts. This is public news. This is for a large floating offshore wind project of the coast of Italy, 70 platforms at 50 megawatt scale. That's 1.0 gigawatt. And this will be delivered by the end of this decade, but the company is getting traction in the US and in Japan, and as well as in other markets. The promise that gas cell technology resembles has attracted significant leadership to the board. Our chairman is Dr. Cavada, CEO at Mitsubishi Power. Connie Hedegaard, the former Minister of Energy and Industry. Mesonero is the head of M&A from Iberdrola, the giant. All this in alignment with Sustainability Development Goals 13 and 7. Please visit us at our stand at the gas cell, at the energy area. We are very happy to welcome there. Thanks a lot for your attention.
Thank you, Adrian. Thank you very much. It's time to listen to Asaf from Greeneum.
So hello. Everybody is talking here about the climate change. We know that we have to meet the climate targets of 1.5, and it seems that we're already missing that target, and it's really difficult. We see there is a big challenge of pushing new technologies into the market, also in sense of finance, also in sense of integration with clients and scale-up market. This is why we established Greeneum as a global network based on blockchain and AI to support renewable energy and incentivize clean tech and carbon reduction. We've been establishing a few years ago and raised already over 1 million in capital. We have early customers and a recurrent revenue of over 50,000 euro a year. Our team is professional from different countries, and basically over 5,000 projects already registered from different kinds: solar projects, clean tech projects, wind energy, reforestation, and any technology that can prove that they can reduce the carbon footprint. We work with project developers themselves. We make a satellite validation and monitoring of the projects that we could work with third-party buyers to buy these carbon credits or green certificates from us, voluntary certificates, and other rewards we have on the platforms as tokens for renewable energy providers. And what is the advantage of using really blockchain for the climate goals, or DeFi, which is decentralized finance? So first of all, we can create decentralization of the market and bring it really to the society and not only to the corporates. We have transparency after projects. We can follow how they grow up, how they develop, or new innovation. We are reducing the cost of the projects, and we bring a lot of flexibility. For example, what we see here, our project can get financed by issuing early certificates, using smart contracts. It can be followed, or using other tools like carbon credits or ESG credits that we're issuing lately for social impact as well. The community can validate the projects. We have validators on the platform, and help them to scale, partners that we have as well. And others, of course, for investors, they get more liquidity for investing through this method and flexibility. So we are actually a circular economy platform, and having a marketplace. We have an AI insight for the projects. It's a SaaS business and a marketplace. An API, easy to integrate large amount of projects for utilities and grid operators, and funding for new projects. We are raising $5.5 million. We have 1 million committed, and in 5% valuation. And if you have more questions, you're welcome to ask me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Asaf. There's one more pitch, and then you'll come back for the Q&A session. Let's welcome Charlot from Mukuru Clean Stoves.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Charlotte Magai. I'm from Nairobi, Kenya. I grew up in Mukuru. It's one of the largest slums in Nairobi. I was orphaned by 10 years, and at 16, I ended up becoming a teenage mother. I dropped out of school, got a job selling charcoal, and I earned $1 a day. I also used an inefficient stove and charcoal to cook. When my daughter turned 2, she suffered a very severe burn injury, which is what sparked my interest in providing a better cooking technology for my community. Now, across Africa, there is 1.2 billion people who still rely on inefficient stoves to cook, and they're impacted by the hazardous, effects of household air pollution. We have about 1 million people who die every single year just from using an inefficient stove or solid fuel. Now, Mukuru Clean Stoves is the first in the world to use recycled metal to manufacture improved cook stoves, making them affordable, efficient, and accessible. We partner with local women business owners to distribute to the very last mile. Now, our cook stoves compared to international brands are 75% cheaper with the same thermal efficiency, and they enable families to reduce up to 50% on fuel consumption costs. We've been doing this for the last 6 years, and this year, after winning the Astrid Prize in 2022, we developed, again, the first in the world mosquito repellent fuel that enables families to repel mosquitoes for at least 6 hours for every burn. Now, our customers are women, young women, and older women from 17 to 50 years old, normally with 3 children under their care, living in peri-urban and rural areas in Kenya. Most of these households earn $40 to $100 monthly income, and they spend a third of it on fuel consumption costs. Our stoves enable families to reduce their cooking time by 50%. They're also able to reduce fuel consumption by 60%. They reduce emissions by 90%, and they're 75% cheaper than available alternatives in the market. Over the last 6 years, we've sold over 425,000 clean cook stoves across Western Kenya, enabling families to make savings of over $50 million in fuel consumption costs, impacting women by increasing their household income. They sell our stoves, they earn a 10% commission, which translates to $425,000 in raised household income. We've created over 150 green jobs and impacted the lives of over 2 million people who now benefit from cleaner air within their homes. Our stoves have also enabled families to reduce over 900,000 tons of carbon emissions over the last almost 7 years. And we have recycled and repurposed over 20,000 tons of metal. We're raising $10 million. We've already raised over $5 million to develop new products to reach market ration. And currently we're raising $10 million to allow us to reach the next million households and be able to generate another $5 million in carbon credits so we can further subsidize the cost of the stoves. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Charlotte, and congrats on your project. You can stay with us for the Q&A session, and we are going to call Solskin, VoltR, GASL Wind Power, and Greeneum to join us. Dear jury, you know your job? At least one question per picture, please. You can go over there so that you're on the camera. Thank you.
So I have a first question for Solskin. If I understood well, there is a solar tracker in each module, a two-axis tracker to follow the sun. So that must be quite expensive. Could you give us a cost comparison in comparison, for instance, to regular rooftop solar panels?
So our solar tracker is based on 9 years of research at ETH Zurich and was specifically developed for this application in the built environment on the building facade. And the product is really this double functionality of energy production, where we can increase the energy production of the singular solar cell and have the savings from the shading. With our unique value proposition of the energy optimization, the comfort optimization, and the aesthetic aspects of the system, it became a very viable solution to position our product in the high-end segment. And we found a number of customers which were very interested in that solution. On the other hand, we cannot yet offer the economies of scale to compete with Chinese manufacturers with produced in the multiple hundred thousands of square meters.
Thank you very much.
I have a question for Gazelle Wind. So I know that I think in particular in the last year, we've become very aware of kind of the permitting challenge, the supply chain challenges associated with offshore wind development. I'm curious with Gazelle's kind of more unique floating offshore wind solution, how are you navigating those challenges? And then kind of a follow-up question as well. I'm curious about the cost to develop one.
Well, on the one hand, of course, it breaks my heart to see the industry not ramping up as quickly as we all want, because the world really needs that. We need to get to scale, and we need to get that momentum. On the other hand, it's perfect timing for us. We strongly believe we have the perfect product, and we are in the right market. We will see that floating offshore wind will become an international market by 2035. And so we have all the time to catch up with companies that started 15 years ago in order to become bankable and start deploying at scale. And in terms of LCOE, you see the big players now reaching LCOE between 1 million, 1.4 million euros per megawatt install. We have a roadmap to get, firstly, down to 1 million euros per megawatt install, and then going all the way down to 700 to 800,000 euros. Now, Gazelle is a truly innovative technology. When you have a truly innovative technology, what you have is further room to optimize the cost, because the old legacy technologies, they've been optimized for the last 25 years. So that was a truly innovative technology gives you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Maybe a question for VoltR. I understand that battery recycling will be a big market, right? And I know you didn't really explain the technology behind what you do, but still, I'd love to have a feel of or a hint of what you do exactly. Are you applying a particular technology? Is it your technology? Is it really scalable? Can you tell us a bit about the technology?
Yeah, so the technology is, first of all, scalable, as it is still industrial technology, so we have factories, and it takes time to, of course, duplicate all the factories. What do we do? So your question is about the magic that we have. Yeah, right. Okay. So, for example, we take bicycle batteries, and when it goes down to 80%, usually we throw it away and we just recycle it, meaning we destroy it. When you take 80% bicycle batteries, you can still use those cells to make a toothbrush battery or a light, nomad light battery, and so on. So what we do is we test the battery that is at the end of the first life, and then we know where we can use again this battery, for example, on lower performance products.
Thank you so much.
Maybe a question for Mukuru. Absolutely well told story. I think the thing that I was wondering is how you're actually distributing those stoves across the country, or how do you start? Which country do you tackle first when you roll out? What's your plan here?
So we're currently in Kenya and spreading across East Africa. Our stoves are exclusively sold by a network of local women business owners. So these are women who are based in, rural areas, rural villages. They are your tailors, your grocery sellers. So they're people you interact with every day. And they sign on to become our sales agents, and they earn a 10% commission. So they're able to sell to their everyday customers. So that helps with access as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A question for Greeneum. How do you attract the best project and make a quick assessment of their real impact to be sure that they are the really virtuous project that you're on?
So we have a lot of requests for projects or technologies that would like to be on the platform. And what we have is internal experts and also validators. And the process of verification and confirmation of projects is internally, and then we have a third-party validator that is also on the platform, and they verify it. That's the first manual verification, and we collect the data, and basically the projects have to either connect with the API or submit recurrent reports on the progress every quarter. And then the community of investors involved in the projects or buyers can follow the project and progress.
Thank you so much.
And I have a question for BioEsol. Do you have any kind of patent on your BMS, and how do you make sure that you cannot be copied? Because it's mostly a software question. Huh?
For whom?
Sorry. Sorry, I got the wrong side of the paper.
For which company?
No,
Ignore.
Ignore.
Okay, currently I just said we have available projects interesting. You are invited to contact me with verified and certified carbon credits or other ones which are on the process to be certified, and really innovative technologies. It's worth to have a look on them, and I look forward to hear from you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You'll have time to discuss in the networking area over there with the jury. And the jury has time to now pick their favorite project for the coup de cœur. And in the audience, you could hear the winner of the coup de cœur pitch a second time tomorrow at 7 p.m. over there in the collective stage. Thank you so much for pitching. Thank you so much for the jury. And thank you so much for the audience. See you in 2 minutes for the next session with the IB Institute.